So after a long hot summer and lots of windy days, I noticed the guys flying slope soaring gliders down near the sea, and I suddenly thought, I wonder what a basic glider with a motor and a few channels would cost. So I bought this. They cost in Australia. They cost between about 75 to 95 bucks. So I got one of these. And the attraction is it uses the WL Toys protocol Fly Sky, so I knew I'd be able to fly it with my Jumper remote control. So that was one of the key things that made me go for it. Also the idea of learning a new skill and having something I could fly on really windy days. So it seemed like a good plan. It's taken a while to get going though, because there are a couple of snags with the Jumper, so I'll go into more detail with that and show you what I ran into. Okay, so I've got this is the Jumper with the set for the Sky King. And so there it is amongst my other protocols, my other models rather. So loading that one, and I start off with a template for a plane, a 6-channel plane, even though this has just got 3 channels. Reasonably low power, and there's the Fly Sky protocol, and to make it work I just go one more step and then hit bind. I turn the plane on first and then hit the bind option, and you'd see you've made a bind. Okay, let's go out of there. Model menu, we go down to mixer. And this is where I had a bit of trouble. First thing you might notice there is an exclamation mark on aileron. Now in theory this thing only has 3 channels. The throttle, which is okay, I'm running at 100% simple. The elevator, and what I found out was the controls reversed. So what I had to do, if I hit enter there, you can see I've got it on reversed rather than normal. The trick was that when I reversed the throttle, I didn't get the same response. It didn't reverse the control at all. So what I eventually realised was that in fact it's using the aileron for the rudder. So it's using the elevator for the flaps on the tail, but it's not using the rudder at all. It's using channel 1, the aileron. So once I twigged to that, I was able to set it up properly. So, don't know why. Maybe someone with more experience with deviation or these sort of planes can explain that, but the nice thing is it now works. So I go through the process of arming it just to show how it's done, and also to show how the rudder and the elevators work. So first of all, I'm putting the battery, connecting the battery, the motor, and that gives me a red flashing light on the board that's got the servos on it, the 2 servos. After I've done that, I can turn on the Jumper. And then I've got to hit enter, model menu, model setup, load, and then I'm skip down to bind, hit enter on bind, and eventually it'll indicate it's bound by doing that. That's how you know you've bound. And then the other way you know you've bound Just moving this a bit closer, is if you blip the throttle. Yep. Now, the next part, you see it now, using the remote control it came with, is a stand. And now, if I tweak the rudder, if I go left, it goes left. Go right, it goes right. Down, the elevators, hang on, yeah, pull it down and they go up, which means the nose is going to go up. Put it up and they go down, which means it's going to nosedive. And getting used to the controls, at times I was doing that and nosediving. Got to remember to pull up, do that. So that's the controls. You've just got the three channels, and they turn out to be channel 1, 2 and 3. And channel 4, that's normally rudder, is not used at all. So I'll turn this off. Disconnect the battery. And the controller that it comes with is not bad at all. The biggest drawback is it actually uses 6 AA batteries, which is a lot of batteries, particularly if you've got lots of controllers. On the other hand, with my jumper, I'm just using a 7.5 volt LiPo, which is easy to recharge and gives me good long life. So the only time I put 6 batteries in the standard WL Toys controller for the Sky King was to try and figure out what the hell was going on with the controls. When I found that I couldn't, reversing the rudder was having no effect on the rudder at all. And when I finally figured out it was channel 1, the aileron, and reversed that, I could then verify that moving the sticks on the on this side of the original controller gave me exactly the same results as moving the same stick on the jumper. So probably not a big deal, but it was certainly a trap for me, so I thought I'd share this. Just a quick closer look at the Velcro I'm using. It comes in lots of different brands, but basically one side of it is just soft and furry, the other's got rougher little hooks. So that's how it comes together, and the stuff is dirt cheap. So I've flown my Sky King to the point where the wings are starting to become a bit loose. I've also broken the nose up a bit, but no, it still flies well. So what I'd heard about was putting a bit of Velcro on the wings, so that when they're pushed in together they won't pop out quite so easily, but they should still pop out to avoid breaking anything in a crash. So hopefully best of both worlds. So I'll push this one through from this side, like that. And there's a carbon fibre rod that helps to stiffen it up a bit. And there's the matching Velcro on this side. So the theory is that it'll clamp together. With a severe enough impact it should come out, but because they start off fairly tight, but they soon loosen up once you've had a few dings, and a few dings is just what happens. So there it is. So I'll just leave those in, carry it in the car like that, and see how I get on. And finally, a little bit of flying, just next to it from some flying I did this morning before I applied the Velcro. So, at first I was just concentrating on getting the elevators right, just set the throttle at the left position and left it. And, yep, it went straight into a tree. I had tried flying at much stronger winds before I realised the controls reversed, and that was very confusing.
As usual, using blipping the throttle tells me where it is. It's a well cushioned landing. Okay.
Eventually I realised I wasn't launching straight into the wind, so once I got the angle right it was less likely to veer off to one side. Again, my main focus is on not overdoing it with the elevator. And typically that's how the wings pop out, and that's a fairly gentle landing. Here's an example where I forget and I pull back to go down and it nosedived. And there's some gentle touch and go.